Hello, hello, hello. We are live again with 11 people. What do you all think about this fancy piano music in the background? Hello, Caden. Hello, Swirl. Hello, Still Chill. Hello, YJ. Hello, Gnome's Child. Hello, Great Guardian. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Strike. Hello, Nick. Hello, Les Ear. Hello, Great Guardian. How does the music sound? Does it interrupt my conversation? I can shut it down. Fernando Katekek says, "What's good, Kozaman? Bass piano music." Yeah, look, I tried dealing with OBS and shit, but turns out there's a CD player in the background, and I just popped in some classical music, and here we go. Like we're in some sort of parasocial environment together. All of us just hanging out. Now I'll make this even more parasocial. What's this? It's Daddy Cosman's rice and yogurt and a cup of coffee. 2 minutes in. Let me just mukbang this rice and yogurt while you guys get in here. If you have friends, call them here. Go on your Discord, go on your Instagram, go on your whatever it is that you use these days. God, lots of chats are pouring in. I'll give everybody like 5 minutes and eat this thing. And then after, we can really start the conversation. Yes, we are taking this to a whole new parasocial level. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just imagine you're hanging out with me. I think no summer evening is complete without the sounds of cutlery tinkling on far off balconies. Yes. Call everybody, and if you are watching this later, please consider buying me a coffee on Buy Me a Coffee. Or even if you're watching this now, look, this thing has no paid super chatting. I read everybody's chats, and that's something, So if you feel charitable, go to Buy Me a Coffee and buy me a coffee. Or maybe become a patron at Patreon for $1 a month. It would really make a huge difference. All right. Yeah. Okay, let's get this way. Huh? Oh. Yeah, we gotta have multiple camera angles here. Look at. Now, I won't read any comments now. I'll just eat. And then we get the show on the road. just rice with yogurt, also known as lapa. You salt that bitch up a little, and then it's the perfect re-electrolyzing, rehydrating. Oh, you feel like one of those seals in a Japanese aquarium. Nandame, nandame. Spinosaur says, Merhaba Ravai Közemen. Hello. Oh, god damn. I was hungry. Lady Spookaria is here. I was a guest on her live stream earlier. And happy birthday. I think it's Lady Spookaria's birthday today. So happy birthday, Lady Spookaria. And I am looking forward to joining another live stream with you anytime you wish. Ferrari Al says, abi afiyet olsun. Kanka sana da işte ne yapayım işte böyle lapa yiyip takılıyoruz biz de burada. YouTube Joseph says hello. Hello, my good friend. 22 people watching Daddy Kozman eating rice with yogurt. It's like a hero's meal. Kozman, fancy dinner role play ASMR. Benny says, what's the music in the background? It's classic music. I will tell you what it is in a bit. Oh, yes. Look, this rice isn't coming from nowhere. It's not coming down to me from God. I have to go to the supermarket and buy the rice and buy the yogurt and shit. So, really would help if you could put your money where your hearts are. Okay, now we're officially getting this show on the road. Let me just put this back. Oh my God, this is so fun. Let me just put this back and wash up, turn down the piano music a little, and then we'll answer proper questions. And that will be that. And I'm so happy. All right. Also, take a look at, enjoy these birds and shit while you wait for me to come back. Also enjoy these other things. I'll be right back. Look at them go. Look at these things. They're walking all over the place. All right. All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for bearing with me with the dinner thing. I was hungry and I thought, why not turn that into a feature? Okay, lots of comments. Ethem Sönmez says, Afiyet olsun, which is the Turkish for bon appetit. Blake Richardson says, how has your summer been so far? Well, I think in some ways it's one of the nicest summers on record for me. Yes, Matthew G asks, are you listening to Bach? Yes, it's Bach, the Goldberg variations. So, just a second. All right. It's been one of the nicest summers on record for me because 2 weeks ago, All Tomorrows officially got picked up by an international publisher, and now it's coming out as a real book all over the world, not just in Turkey, and you'll be able to buy it in bookstores and stuff. So I'm really, really happy with that. And if you follow me on this channel, there's a big video about this development too. And so the publisher worked with a pre-ordering model where people could just go in and support the book, and then their support would be counted as a pre-order to raise money for the publication. And the good thing is, thanks to you all, the book was fully funded in record time. I mean, nearly 1,000 orders in 5 days. It's incredible. Nick Glab says, I already got it as a Christmas present. Ethem Sönmez says, I cannot pre-order to Turkey. Well, you can't pre-order to Turkey and a lot of other countries, but when the book is published, there'll be many copies and you'll be able to buy it straight from Amazon.com or the publisher's website. Yep. So, just a second. Let me just go and turn down the piano music because it's a bit distracting. Just checking some messages. Everybody here got a copy, so thank you all. It really means a lot. You know, I had no idea this was going to be that popular. YouTube Joseph says, can you come visit me in New York at some point? I mean, not in the city, on Long Island. Well, look, my friend, I wish. I'll show you something. I'll show you something, okay? This is a Turkish passport, and unfortunately, it needs visas for the holder to travel to practically anywhere in the civilized world. You need visas for Europe, you need visas for the States, you need visas to go to Australia, Canada, anywhere. Like the range of mobility is really limited if you hold one of these. Now, I'm always proud to be a Turkish citizen, but as things stand now, the US doesn't even issue tourist visas to anybody. So, and even if it did, travel is really expensive these days. Like $1 is worth 33 liras or something. So I'm afraid I'm just hanging around in this part of the world now these days, which is fine. I like it here. I always love this part of the world, but with all the interest shown in my work in the States, especially these days, it would not be bad to return to good old days when I was a student at an American college. God damn, good times, some good times. And to this day, I carry this in my wallet to remind me. So yeah. Les Ears says, I already ordered a signed hard copy. The shipping fee to Turkey was high, but I don't know about delivery stuff. All I know is after the book is out, it will be easier to buy from Turkey and a number of other places. I had a lot of friends from Israel who wanted to buy, and it doesn't ship there either. I don't know if that's because of a regional thing, because Turkey doesn't get shipment either. I don't know if that was a regional thing or like a conscientious embargo sort of thing. I hope not the latter. The Dark Master says, have you ever considered visiting Europe to see nature? Oh, I also, well, since I'm flashing you my wallet now, I also lived and worked in Europe for a while. I lived in Italy for nearly 3 years. This was my permesso di soggiorno, my work license or travel license. And I worked for Benetton Company. I was in North Italy, in a small town between Venice and Milan called Treviso. And I rode my bike to and from work every day. And my work was as a editor for a really cool and interesting magazine. So it was some nice times there too. But these days, yeah, if you're an American or Swiss or European or New Zealander or Japanese or British, or if you live in the West, you have it so easy. You never had it so good. It's just amazing. So Joseph says, can you visit me on Long Island at some point? Man, if somebody gives me a lot of money and somehow sponsors my work visa in the US, I'll visit you any day. All right, checking some messages. But here's the deal. It's summer, right? Why don't you all visit Istanbul? If you visit Istanbul, I'll meet up with you and have a cup of coffee. All right. YouTube Joseph says, do you have a passport? Look, I just showed you my passport. I'm not going to show you what's in it. And we'll leave it at that. Mr. Kozman single-handedly fixes the Turkish economy once again, says Ethem Sönmez. Well, yeah, the 30 people watching this stream each happen to be Rockefellers and Rothschild. So each donates $2 billion and economy is fixed. Toffee says, I love your art. Thank you. Thank you so much. Joseph, some more passport and travel related. Look, let's talk about this in private, okay? What should we talk about? I call this one Skinwalker Sunday, just because I was talking to an online friend about skinwalkers and shit. But I mean, skinwalkers, they're these Navajo or Native American vampire or shapeshifter style legends, and that's the most I know about them. Luca Ricci says, are your commissions still open? My good man, yes. I have been drawing some commission art actually. If you support me on Patreon, you get to see the complete versions of things like this Patreon's cat. Well, 2 cats rendered as 1 creature. And I did some really nice line work here. Just look at this thing. I also drew. So these things get scanned and colorized and fixed, and that's the beginning of my process. And commissions are still open. If you're interested, write to me, and we'll see what happens. I also drew this relative of Dinochirius, which is a kind of giant ostrich dinosaur. But it's a lineage based on Dinochirius, which has been adapted for a more like hadrosaur-like existence. And these are the raw files. I literally go to a coffee place after work and just get a cup of tea and draw. Gnome's Child says, if I come to Istanbul, will you promise to show me the best restaurants? Of course. You will come and you will leave a heavier person because I will feed you like a feeder. So anyways, commissions are a thing. So hit me up. They're not cheap, but think of this in the long run. You are getting original art from yours truly. All right. What should we talk about? It's a great summer night. I'm going to turn down the Bach because it's distracting me. Roxumi says, looks amazing like always. Why? Thank you so much. Oh. Okay, the music, it might be pleasant to you, but it's too loud for me. I'm just going to change that. I'll be right back. Also, loads more developments in the creature front. Okay, some new developments in the creature front. A couple weeks ago, I was just walking around when I noticed this thing like a little turtle, but it was actually on the wall, so it was obviously not a turtle. Turns out it's this really magnificent looking turtle roach, genus Polyphaga. That's Polyphaga. Polyphaga. So, just a second. So it's living in this container somewhere. Don't worry, it's not going to be an insect jump scare because it's actually a very docile animal. I don't even know where it is. I hear it rustling about sometimes, but that's about it. Let's see where it is. Let's hope it didn't pass away. Mr. Şerefsiz says, "Ne mutlu Türk'üm diyene," which means how happy to that who says he or she is Turkish. I agree. I've always been proud about being from where I'm from. Okay, we got him. We got her. Look at this. A moon. Oh my God. Just look at this roach. A moon. Oh my God. A moon just. Oh my God. A moon just fell on the keyboard. Sorry about that. Okay. Normally it's a more docile, way more docile, but yeah. It's not a he, it's a she because the males have wings and like they're more difficult to keep. But look at this. A moon. This is so good. So look how quickly she'll disappear now. Oh, gone. So that was that. Okay, we made sure this thing is alive. Look at there she is. There she's at the bottom. Just rustling about. I just keep one corner of this box slightly moist. Not too much though. And then, well, look at it. There she is. Hop. Hop. Roksumi says, gorgeous. Thank you. Caner Shenkal says, is its name a moon? Yes. Look at it. Look at her go there. So lots of questions about this thing. Yeah, Caner Shenkal asks, is its name moon? Yes, it's like a funny word. I mean, it's like almost an onomatopoeic word I use to refer to fat animals, and it's like OMMUN, but the O has umlauts and the U has umlauts, so it's a moon. So yes, look at her go. Oh, just hanging around. Yeah, so these things are sold for like $75 per animal in US exotic reptile forms, but here in Istanbul I got it for free. This guy says hi. Absent Fish says, this summer is rich in weird animals washing up in beaches. They found a spade-toothed whale in New Zealand and a leatherback turtle in the White Sea in Russia, which is a cold place. Yes, both of these are extraordinary developments. The spade-toothed whale is just very, very rare. It's an incredibly rare species, so much that a sighting of one is like a UFO sighting. Look at a moon burrowing in the background. Less IRR says, I'm about to buy my first car ever and I'm a car rookie. What are your experiences with driving in general, Mr. Kusaman? I'll give you a great hint. Don't buy one of those new cars with lots of digital stuff in them. I mean, I don't know what type of budget you have, but try to get, especially if you're living in Turkey, try to get a second-hand Volkswagen Golf with a maybe automatic transmission. But also, I just tell this to everybody, also always learn the stick shift. Always. And the good thing about the Golf car, especially in the second-hand versions, is that the models that were built until 2014 were very robust and they don't age at all. Their engines run very smoothly and they can handle slopes really well. And if you live in Turkey, there are lots of slopes and hills, even in the big city. So there. The Dark Master says, hope a moon didn't escape. Oh boy, by the way, as an honor to this creature, can I get a moon with big caps letters from everybody in the house? Just type a moon. OMMUN. Oh my God. Blake Richardson says, that's an adorable goof. Absentfish says, hi. YouTube Joseph says, I'm leaving. Cadence Slinker says, a moon. Waffle SS says, a moon. Gnome's Child. Nick Glove, Absent Guardian. Lux Aterna. Rocksumi, Blake Richardson, Swirl Beast, everybody's Fart Keeper, Ali Gönüllü, Belni, Absent Fish, everybody. Absent Fish is giving the best a moon with the incredible, I don't even know what these letters are, but let's just do it. Oh, okay, let's share window. Boom. Nordic, oh yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna put the moon back. So we have some options now, okay? Let's actually, everybody, even a broken watch is right sometimes. So here's something I learned from one of the worst people in existence, the creature known as Destiny. So what this non-entity, very popular non-entity does is always, whenever he's talking about debate shit, he's like typing randomly and really fast. So here's what we can do. We can paint. We can look at millipede box. We can look at isopod box. So choose your option. Oh, Dark Master asks, what species is moon? Yeah, it's actually a Polyphaga. It's this species. Just go look it up. Polyphaga Egyptica. I'll show you. I'll also teach you some rules. Okay, teach you some rules about writing scientific names. When you write scientific names, sometimes you write sometimes people who should know better write the second species name with caps too, but no, this is actually a no-go. This has to be small. And also, when you're writing professionally, scientific names are always in italics. So look this up, actually. It's a relatively rare form of giant cockroach. Okay, so we'll pick an option. I'll just put the moon creature back. I gave it I gave it a piece of sausage. She ate it also. That's good. All right. I love democracy. Roxumi says isopods and millipedes. We got 2 votes for paint. Okay. All right. I think many people are feeling isopods and millipedes, so I think we're going to have to go with that. So I got these really nice ice cream containers. This is the great thing about Turkey. Like each container costs something like ridiculous. Like, I mean, each contains like 50 cents each. What brand, says Waffle SS? Zero brand. These are made in China or maybe locally made. They're like these no brand things. So this is the pill bug isopod enclosure. So this is where we keep the pill bugs. And I tried feeding them every sort of substrate. There's like decaying vine leaves. There are decaying magnolia leaves. There's even decaying banana shreddings and stuff like that. Out of them all, they like the toilet paper best. So here they are actually. Look, just hanging around. I don't want to disturb them too much, but here they are. And they're a local species that gets to be really big. So I don't want to disturb them too much. And it took me a while to get this through. I've lost some of them died. I don't know why. But yeah, they're really thriving with this cardboard. So yeah, I also gave them I found some figs that were just dropping beneath a fig tree, and I noticed that isopods were all around those, so I gave them some figs too. They liked it, but it's always a bit tricky to get these going. I mean, sometimes there's a problem with moisture. They shouldn't be too dry, but they shouldn't be too moist either. So that's a difficult thing. So this is the millipede enclosure. Up Sandfish says, try giving them eggshells or broccoli. Yeah, I actually do have eggshells in there. I also have like a special calcium dust. So they love that stuff. Mohammed Kudia says, they are the best. So now let's look at the millipede enclosure. This is like Jurassic Park. I love this thing. So in the millipede enclosure, I have a little guest, which is this snail, and it just eats the garbage because there's a lot of decaying stuff here. So I don't know how good this is going. You can see one here just going about its business. There's actually 2 different kinds of millipedes in this place, and they eat decaying leaves, decaying fruit, cucumbers and stuff. Here we got another one. Well, here's the second species I have. And you can notice the difference. This second kind is way faster, and it's got a longer head. It can actually pivot its head, and it had longer antenna and a more reddish color. So there's that. There it is. Wait, I need some proper light here. Hop. So here, well, you can't really see it because the camera's crap, but here's the second millipede. This thing should really focus better. So anyways, they're all hanging around. The best thing about this sort of pets is, look, pets are a big responsibility. A couple of years ago, I rescued a little gecko from a spider web. It was really tiny. And I kept this animal for a year. I really bought like these expensive calcium vitamins for it and everything. And then it lived for a year, but at the end, something happened and I couldn't save it. I should have released it as soon as it improved. I should have released it back, but I didn't. And then when it died, it was winter. Probably it had a respiratory infection or something. We got an escapee here. It probably had a respiratory infection or something. Moral of the story is that that little animal, it was smaller than this millipede. It was a tiny gecko. And that little animal's death really upset me. I had lots of pets before. We had the cat in earlier seasons of this show. Well, the cat died too. Even the death of the small gecko was really painful for me. So the good thing about these pets is, well, they're very low maintenance. Okay. I mean, you have to be an idiot to kill them. And imagine you have to move or something, and I mean, let me tell this much, that it's a possibility on the books, unfortunately. So if I have to move, I can just release them back out to the streets where I found them, and they'll be happy. Look at this thing go. Why are there CGI balloons? Oh, it's a kind of like, if you do stuff like this, I don't. Then sometimes the webcam does these like superimposition effects, which I don't really know. Okay, let's put this one back. We'll say goodbye. Unlike a moon, these have no names. They're just enjoying themselves. Yeah. So they keep me good company. Every morning I check on them. I see what they're doing. I also have a third kind of isopods. So these are a bit delicate. Sorry. Huh. Hearts pouring in. Thank you. Waffle SSS. Aren't they poisonous? Well, maybe, but who the hell cares? Certainly not poisonous enough to hurt anybody. Okay, so here we have another kind of, well, today's just become the zoo stream, huh? Today, here, we have another kind of isopod, which are just pill bugs. So these, you can't really see them, and they're very delicate. These are the kinds of isopods that are still quite big. I mean, here's a few. I don't know if you can see them. These guys are quite big, but they can't curl into a ball. They're flat. So, and last week, this box was kind of going critical. There was too much moisture, and I unfortunately lost some of them, but now they're stabilized. They're even having babies in there, so that's a good thing. So there's that, and yeah. So there's a second different kind of isopod native to this part of the world. Are they safe enough to lick? Actually, in a previous stream, I did lick a millipede. This guy says I may have to go soon. Well, wherever you go, hope you have a nice week. Okay, I'll show you my last and final box of jars. Gnome's Child says, can you see their eggs in there? The eggs are in the belly. The females carry them, and I do see them sometimes. And this is the final jar. This is the final habitat. And I just have to work on this because this is the oldest. This is more than 2 years old now. Life has been going on in there. So this is a jar. This is a habitat dedicated to these very rare closely-lid snails, which kind of look like this. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, this is what it looks like, kind of like a seashell that lives on land. This is one species. This is very rare. I caught this in the highlands of Eskişehir 4 years ago. For 2 years, it lived in a pot in my balcony. And then I mean, it doesn't move much. So I found it. Now it lives in this box. There's another species here that's slightly smaller and like reddish colored. So these are called closilids. Here's how you spell them. Let me share. No. Okay. This is the family name. For some reason, these things don't live in the New World. They're like a European and Asian and Mediterranean specialty. They also live in Far East Asia, where they evolve into some really bizarre forms. So the trouble with this habitat, I'll switch to the habitat cam. Okay. The trouble with this habitat is that it's a bit too moist, and there are also isopods here. There's actually a third kind of isopod here. I don't know if you can see it. They're more like smaller size and brownish color. There's one now moving about. And they got babies too, so that's nice. So the thing is, because of the snails, I have to spray this thing a lot. And because of this, it's become swampy. And the isopods don't really do well in the mud. So I have to layer in like banana shreddings and wine leaves and everything, and they live on them. But like at one point, I have to conduct like a rescue operation and pick every one of those isopods and carry them to a new place. There are also a couple of land winkles here, which are these really interesting little snails. They burrow inside the mud, so can't really see them now. But yeah, this is a really old habitat. You can see on the walls, it's actually green. Some places we give it green with algae. So anyways, I'll have to manage this somehow, and I don't know, but actually the less I meddle with them, the better the animals survive. So that's also another thing. So there's that. So there's my little zoo. Blake Richardson asks, what do leopard slugs like to eat? My cousin found one the other day. I also took care of a leopard slug earlier this year, but it's just too messy. It leaves slime everywhere, and those animals roam like they're slow, but they roam. They roam like 10 meters or 6 feet or 9 feet every night, and a Tupperware box just isn't going to do it. So it's just going to do rounds, leave a lot of slime, and it's just not. You can see it's not convenient for the animal. Mikin says, just coming by to say hi to everyone. Thank you. Roksumi says, glad you stabilized them. Well, thank you. What if the population becomes too much for the box? Asks, just don't. Okay, now here we come to the dark part, okay? So before summer started, I was keeping this box in another house, and I was coming and going every weekend. And in the week when I came back, I noticed these like little white specks near the box. So it's as if something was falling off from the box or something. I always thought maybe it's like some flies that fly in from the breathing holes and like lay eggs in the mud, and maybe it's their pupa or something. I don't know. Then I took a closer look. Turns out those are dead baby isopods from the little medium isopods that live here. So they were giving birth, and because of a population explosion, they were getting pushed out. They were crawling out of the air holes. But because it's too exposed, they would dry out and just die inches from the box. And it's just terrible. I felt awful. Of course, I took remedial action. I rubbed some Vaseline around the box holes so nothing can crawl out anymore. But also, I think they also had a little population collapse of their own. So it's not nice. And even the death of these insignificant creatures, like because it happened on my watch, I feel bad about it. I don't sit down and cry, but it just leaves me with a sour feeling, you know? Whoop. Gaming Center Salisbury says, let's go. Another CM Cosman stream. Yeah, look, this became the CM Cosman's small critter stream. So let's do some painting to change the mood, huh? And yeah, the death of the baby isopods was awful. Yeah. So, you know, that's one like tiny invertebrates in a fucking box. I can't fathom like losing a bigger pet, you know, a reptile, a cat, a dog. I read somewhere that pets are the new kids and plants are the new pets, which is a darkly true saying for the present day and age. But yeah, if you keep anything bigger than this, or if you take care of another human being, you got balls, I'll give you that. You're brave. Comelphone says, have you tried keeping social insects like ants or termites? No. I'd rather live in a house that has ants naturally living in it. So, I mean, no need to like keep them in a box, you know? I'd rather live in a house that has, well, maybe that doesn't have termites because they're bad for the structure and shit, but yeah. Dark Master says, imagine keeping an arthroplura as a pet. For information, arthroplura is the name given to a fossil trackway, which is like this wide. And by all evidence, it looks like it was made by a flat, big millipede-like creature the size of a snowboard. So a huge, long kind of thing. And in paleo documentaries and stuff, arthroplura is always pictured as a giant millipede. It looks like it was a big arthropod, but nobody's really certain on what it was. So there's that. Okay, I'll put this back. I'll go to painting mode and we'll do some painting. Dark Master says they have found partial segments of arthroplura. Maybe. I may be wrong on that. Lots of hearts coming in. Let me check some messages. Just Don't says, I know the feeling. I have chickens, and when I have to leave them for a couple of days and come back to find their water system didn't work because it froze or something, I feel like a failure. Yeah. I think it was Clint's Reptiles, Clint Lairdlow, and go check it out. It's called Clint's Reptiles, a great YouTube channel. And he said, sadly, if you keep any animal, you will have to get used to death. Caden Slinker says, thoughts on the possibility of human-like extraterrestrials. I mean, something like that is possible. So in nature, there are some solutions that get repeated over and over. Like when you're a swimming animal, when you're a rapid swimming animal, you must inevitably end up shaped like a tuna fish or a shark or something because of hydrodynamics. If you're a flying animal on Earth gravity planets, you probably will end up with wings, and will look something like a bird or a bat or a pterosaur. But even within these convergent evolutionary examples, there are some crazy exceptions. I mean, insects manage to fly with four wings. And yes, to swim, you have to be shaped like a fish, but there are some fish and other animals in the oceans with crazy body shapes. Now, being an intelligent species is a whole other ballgame because intelligence is not as constraining a condition as something like hydrodynamics are. You could look like an octopus and be an intelligent creature. You could look like a centaur with 6 limbs and 2 hands and be an intelligent creature. You could look like a giant millipede with manipulative segments and be like an intelligent creature. So supposing that evolution takes place naturally like it did on Earth, I don't think humanoid aliens are probable. But then again, this body plan is also a body plan that other animals can adopt. So if we see humanoid animals, humanoid aliens, chances are maybe their body inside will be very different. Maybe their arms will be based on something else. Maybe the head will be like, maybe the mouth will be actually built out of two smaller limbs instead of a jawbone like ours. So I'm not against the possibility of things that look like a human in the silhouette, but if you get to meet them closer or if you give them an x-ray, I don't think there's going to be anything with like this exact arrangement of face features. I mean, why is the nostril here? It could be somewhere else, and then you could have a very weirder body plan. So there, just gonna take a bio break. When we're back, you and I are going to paint this really nice background that I laid out earlier. I actually picked up some really fancy acrylic paint with some fancy as color. This thing is called sap green. And as you dilute it, this thing grades into a kind of like marbled yellowish thing. And the yellow paint is also a yellow ochre, but they blend amazingly. Brother man, message redirected. Why? Gaming Center Salisbury says, how would you react if we found an alien planet almost identical to Earth? Not fully identical, but like in Star Trek, basically. Well, it could mean a number of things. I love exercises like this. So, it's something we don't expect with our current understanding of biology, but, what if? Well, it could mean a number of things. It could mean that maybe we were too harsh on God, whatever God is. Yeah, maybe it's not exactly the King James Bible, but maybe actually there is a force out there in space forming nature. It could also have some really weird and scary implications. Maybe the universe is built for things in the shape of man. Maybe the universe is a simulation and some higher force is guiding the evolution of creatures that way. Or maybe we were just completely wrong about biology and evolution. I don't think that, but I mean, this last hypothesis is the least likely one. But it would make, I mean, look, I would take it at face value. I would try to look at fossils in that world. I would try to study genetics on that world to see how things evolved. And if it meant like creation is real, as in the Ken Ham sense, well, I would adjust my view of the universe accordingly. I don't get this shit where it's like, oh, what if it turned out to be true? Okay, then we were wrong, and okay. I mean, I'm not gonna get damned or anything. The other way around too. I mean, what would happen if the religious worldview was false? And a lot of people can't handle that. Okay, I'm gonna put the box back, then paint. I'm gonna take a bio break. Lap time, yes. Oh, okay. Gaming Center Salisbury says humanity on top. Comelfon says, what do you think about Olaf Stapledon's work? Olaf Stapledon is a great author. His best known work is called Star Maker, and there's also a book called Last and First Man. And like one of these are two of the, like, if I could count 5 books that influenced me the most, these would be it. So got some sepia acrylic paint. This is very rare, by the way. Sepia doesn't get made into acrylics anymore. I wonder if you knew that. I should get some sepia paint tomorrow. Okay, we got some sepia paint here to work. And then there's also something I really like called Payne's Gray, which is this lovely, slightly bluish sort of gray. So now we got the background here. I'm just going to make a pedestal, and from there on, we're going to raise an idol on the pedestal together. And And here's a tip, by the way. You know, these CD cases, they make really good paint cases because once you spray this with a little moisture and then you shut it down, doesn't dry. So here's a top painting tip for you. Anyways, let's get this back open. So we got our sepia booger and our Payne's gray booger on here. So let's start by drawing a pedestal. I dreamt that I had feet of clay. I dreamt of centuries laid bare. And then I woke, not knowing that I lived a double life. Okay, another trip you can use. Gaming Center Salisbury says, I think finding an Earth-like planet with humans and animals would be more confusing than finding a planet with totally alien life forms. I agree. Okay, so let's just lay this out right here. You see how Payne's gray creates this really nice kind of like almost marbled effect. So I always want these things to look like they formed in the paper, and I don't want them to look like they were painted. One of the big challenges I've dealt with in art in general. So you just lay out things this way. So here we have our pedestal. It almost looks like a landscape now. This is the great thing about Payne's gray. It kind of gets these incredible landscape effects. Just Don't says, I shall try the new watercolors I got with you today. I didn't get watercolors with anybody today. Oh, today you're going to try out your new. Okay, okay. Absent Fish says, Joromius Bosch is one of my favorite painters. How much has his art influenced you? A lot. When I was in high school, our library had one book by Joromius Bosch, and I kept checking it out, and it was a small book, so not much high resolution, but I kept looking at it, and like all of those creatures, most of those creatures and weird scenes, turns out they're allegories of idioms that were popular at the time, or like jokes or like folk sayings. So, and I remember some research trying to like make sense of it all. So now we got our pedestal. What should be? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd like to go watercolor shopping with any of you, but yeah. Okay. Jerry Caleb says another idea is for keeping paint moist is using an ice cube tray. Yeah, I agree, but I like a palette where I can mix things freely. Another option I use is I just use like caps for small yogurt boxes and stuff, but I always put something hard and flat on top of them to keep them airtight. So yeah. So what should we place on this pedestal now? Blake Richardson says, what kind of creature I should draw? Draw a giant coelacanth or coelacanth, one of those big fish. Blake Richardson's art is really good, by the way. His creatures art and his creature art, and I think he has a world project called Seatuke, Seatuke. Go check that out. Brother Man says, put a salamander there. Oh, okay, maybe. So let's do a dish first. I dreamt of centuries later. Yeah, for some reason, sepia pigment, like real sepia pigment, is extremely difficult to process into acrylics. So for a long time, the only sepia paint I could find was this Pebeo brand acrylics. And these tubes are over 20 years old and they come from a very old bookshop in Istanbul who miraculously could not sell them. So I'm buying them now. So we got the tray too. Absentfish says, let's do a fountain with several creatures. I really like that idea and I'm going to do it now actually. YJ says, Comelphone says, I love, do you like Peter Bruegel the Elder's paintings? Yes, I do. Okay. Get the thinner brush. By the way, a great artist I can also recommend is Bill Traylor, who was an African American self taught artist, the best kind of artist. You call that outsider art. And he just has incredible scenes. After I finish this, I'll show you some of Bill Traylor's work. Also, if you follow me on Patreon, almost every day I post a new surreal painting, which nobody else outside of Patreon can see. So also keep that in mind. So we got some water jets and stuff. Let's do a main kind of like main body here. Best thing about this sort of painting is like there's no right or wrong answer, and you have only your own sense of aesthetics to guide you. So I put a little Payne's gray on the top, and then I'm just taking water. This is not paint anymore, this is just water. And I'm extending it downwards from here. So if you... By the way, it's Sunday morning in the States, and if any of you guys are church going types or if your families are off to church, have a nice day. I hope you had a nice day. I guess there's lots of mean things to say about religion, but if you're in a small town, I think if you're in a... if I lived in a small town, I would just go to church on Sundays for the free food and just being able to socialize with people. And I think it's a nice thing. Depends on the congregation too, but of course, like some places they really exploit people for donations and stuff. Kind of like how YouTube is now, huh? Very strange how modern media recaptures some of those traditional forms of communication and organization, let us say. And don't even get me started about this or like. I'm so glad I'm not a very famous YouTuber. I'm looking at all the drama around like Mr. Beast and that person around him on all those allegations and stuff. And it's almost become like a game of rollerball, like a skating on frictionless ice with abuse allegations on every corner, and everybody's secretly watching the drama. Stupid. Caden Slinker says something about LDS, Church of the Latter-day Saints members, including myself, believe is that God created worlds without number, and since humanity are his children, alien life would look like us too. Well, I really like Mormons. I think they're one of the more based people in the US. When I was living and studying there, I had Mormon friends, and they were the nicest people ever. And they were not fake about it either. That's the cool thing. Very hardworking people, very also laid back. They don't have anything to prove to anybody. That's a cool thing about them. I don't know about the whole thing about, I mean, feel free to disagree with me and I will respect you. The way the LDS church was built and organized is one of the most fascinating American stories in the century. And I'm not going to go into like whole skeptic mode. You know, this guy found some plates, but then lost them, but then remembered them and transcribed them. That doesn't matter. The real miracle is how this group of people were able to organize into an entire new monotheistic religion, or, well, a great variety of a previous religion. And the way they integrated that into the American experience, and they became a thing which has which and nothing like that has been seen before, and I think that's great. So it's almost like talking about the LDS here. It's almost like fiction has some great value too in motivating and organizing people. A lot of people, I think, are not true believers, but the religion gives them something to organize around. And the LDS movement was, of course, organized in a purely American setting. So it has given them like a fantastic edge. Anyways, I really respect LDS people. Too bad you can't drink this coffee like I'm doing, but yeah. I see some sort of LDS debate flaring up in the comments, and guys, you can argue about that somewhere else. Please can it. Look at the fountain, man. Look at the fountain. Stop fighting. The colors are incredible. I'm going to show you in a big screen in a bit. So now we got the fountain flaring and oh. Let's throw some creatures around it. Caden Slinker says, okay, I'll stop. Caden, you're not the person who's meant to stop. Lux Aterna says, beautiful. Rogzumi says, so vibrant. Thank you. So I wonder how we're going to integrate creatures here. Well, we just have to wing it. Caden says maybe some salamander-like, gargoyle-like statues. Absent Fish says there can be a salamander around the stem. We'll see how we can, what we're gonna do. I kind of like worked myself into a corner here by drawing this shape. I don't even know what it's going to be. Absent Fish says these creatures look like weird Daphnia, which are microscopic water fleas. Yeah, maybe. Let's make this thing like a jug. Muhammad Kudia says actual cultural artifact. Yeah, I mean, not everything has to look arcane and monstrous, huh? I like this sometimes. I'm gonna show it to you when it sets, because if I hold it up now, it's gonna flow down. So yeah. Ba 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 ba. I'm just gonna put one drop of this light blue around the creature's eyes and their mouths. Oh, since this is a fountain, let's make them actually vomit water, right? Yeah. Yes, I like this. We'll call this the fountain of YouTube. The gift that keeps on giving. So now these shapes I'm not really happy with. So I'm just going to refine them a little. They're too basic. Let's give them some finials. Jerry Caleb says, I'm seeing waterfall like ibises or cranes. By the way, while I'm painting, let everybody tell me which part of the world you're calling from, you're joining from, so we can represent your part of the world. Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? Let's go. I like this about this channel. You can't do that with thousands of viewers, you know? Oh my God, we got an all-American audience tonight. Blake Richardson from Michigan, Great Guardian from Pennsylvania, where historic events recently happened. Caden Slinker, Alabama, Rogzumi from Texas. We're moving on to Europe now. Luke Saterna from Lithuania. Benny is from Germany. Gian Palo, first-time commenter, I think, from Finland. Fellow Ural Altaic language speaker, hello. Dan McAleer from Scotland. Poyo is from Turkey. Jerry Caleb is from Georgia, the US state known for its peaches. Mohammed Kudia from Morocco. Nice part of the world. I want to visit. Totoro, Totoro. Okay, so now as a final thing, let's give these birds Edward Dory from Moscow, Idaho. Lovely town. What does it look like there? Shall we go explore Moscow, Idaho while this thing dries, everybody? Yeah, let's do that. Oh. Absent fish from Colchester, UK. Edward Dory says, if you're not getting paid to produce art, What is the best way to get faster at making it? It has to be like a disease. Like, I kid you not, every day I make things like this, there's hundreds of stuff. So you have to look at a lot of things and you just have to work your hand. And the first few times, a lot of the things that you make are going to be, well, not that great, but you're just going to smile and keep on making them. We will explore Moscow, Idaho now, and then I can give writing advice. I mean, look, another good way is today I was having tea and I had just finished drawing these commissions of cats and stuff. So I still kept like this was the waitress in the cafe, this was a park, this was a car that was parked across from the road. So you just have to draw. And yeah, these are not the best sketches, but yeah. So it has to be like a disease. And you have to have a specific itch you need to scratch. Sorry, just gonna fix this. Ah, come on. Okay. So Benny is asking for writing advice, and it's almost been an hour and a half. Let's explore Moscow, Idaho, by the way. I'm really curious. Let me pop up a tab. Kyra Fiskroff says, Moscow, Idaho. I am from Ohio, USA. Hello, Kyra. Wasn't that place where a creep studying forensics murdered some college girls and he thought he could get away with it? Man, look, as much as I love America, yeah, they really know how to make psychos there. I don't know about anything about that incident, but I do know. Let's look at Moscow, Idaho. All right, here we are. Righty. Okay, yeah, full screen. Edward Dory says, yes, it's the place with the creep. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a small city in the US without a creep, so don't take it too hard. So, okay, I'm just going blind now, and I got a sixth sense about cities, which is sometimes wrong. So I love going on Google Maps and taking this little manlet and throwing him around in the streets. Now, let's see. It's a small-sized town, American city, so this grid would maybe be the center. There's a university there, so it's a nice place. So just let's look at some seats just outside of the university. So looks like that's going to be fun. Boom, I'm here. God damn, we're in the heart of it. Man. Yeah, I could totally see myself like sitting here and drawing the whole day away. I would park my car here, get off, paint. Yeah, now what a nice place. Where should we go? Let's walk down Main Street. Oh my God, this is so fun. This is so fun. It's a really livable city. It doesn't have the kind of decay and crime I see in some other states like Pennsylvania and stuff. There's a pawn shop. Probably not there. There's a gyros place, which is the Greek name for doner. There's a book people of Moscow. So it looks like a bookshop. Yeah. What's this? Sure Foods, gourmet foods. I'm not too keen on gourmet food, to be honest. Oh my God, there's a movie theater. Yes, I like this town. You live in a nice place. It's a walkable city too, which is rare in the States. Oh, look at this place. Humble Burger. People just living out their best lives. Allegra Print Shop. Yeah, probably would be haunting this place too. There's a farmer's market. There's a museum. Moscow Contemporary. What kind of art would they have here? Yeah, I could have an exhibit here. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I could live in this place. New St. Andrews College. Say, eat, meat. But wait, it gets even more complicated. What the hell is this place? I don't know, but Moscow Chamber of Commerce, University of Idaho, see, explore, eat, drink, stay, something, meet, plan, Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. Okay. Are you meant to do all of these things, or can you choose? I'm just kidding. This is a nice town. Crystal shop, sports, outdoor apparel. Oh, everybody's wearing shorts. What a nice day. So here's something which blows my mind, okay? Everywhere so clean. I know not every town in the US is like that, but like there's no garbage around this tree. These lampposts are all so nice. Now I know there's some like infernal place in the States, but like I don't know how you guys do it. Incredible. Caden Slinker says, I've been to Twin Falls, Idaho, where Evil Knievel jumped the Snake River Gorge. Town looks like from an old movie, says Poyo. Yeah, Poyo is a Turkish viewer. So yeah, this looks like a lot of movies we saw in the 80s and 90s growing up about idyllic small town America. Just Don't says, how did Moscow, Idaho have the same name as the Russian city? We don't know. Would you care to illuminate? Blake Richardson says, imagine drawing every single scale on a fish. It's easy. I mean, I do that all the time. C Cyborg says, hi, I'm at work and can't stay. Much love. Can't wait to watch later and hope you're doing well. Well, okay. Have a great day. Let's go back to Moscow. I'm going to walk a few streets more, and then I'm going to ask you, oh my God, what's this? Drugs. Toy shop downstairs. Also sell Magic the Gathering. Oh, they got everything in here. Look at the sneakers on this lady. Something like this, the sneakers would cost me like half of my monthly wage. So that's why I hate shopping. I just hate shopping. Look at these women enjoying big Slurpees, coffee, some sort of snack. Oh, they're probably going to go into this car and just drive. Oh, and the gasoline won't cost 1/3 of their monthly wage to fill up the tank. You guys have it so good in some ways. So good. Look how wide this freaking street is. This is like a highway in my part of the world. Like highways are this wide, you know? Nice kind of coffee. Cafe Artista, where art and coffee meet. This is like my cafe surrealist dream that I used to talk about. But imagine getting someplace like this. I have my art studio here upstairs, okay? Downstairs, everybody has coffee, and the walls are covered with my little paintings and stuff. And then people also can buy them if they want to. So the coffee will support the studio, and I won't starve. If only us. What are these guys doing? Looks like a fancy tap house and kitchen. It's not too expensive. Okay, I could go there. I got an allergic reaction to some sorts of like shitty Whole Foods type, like fake ass organic places. But so far, I haven't seen much. What's here? Intrigue. Everything you never knew you needed. It's one of those. Yeah, probably will not go there because I don't believe in buying clothes. I love this thing so much. Rosa Crespo says, "Hello, CM Kozman. I have been a fan of your art and books. Just a quick question for those who ordered your physical copies of All Tomorrows. When will it be released and shipped?" I have been getting this question a lot. I think this November it's going to be shipped out, and Unbound, the publisher, they're very solid about this. Once again, I told this before on this channel, but they published books by Douglas Adams and many like proper nature, science, and fiction books. They don't leave their customers. They don't leave their customers on the ground, so to speak. C Cyborg says, "I thought you were exploring Mamaroneck when I joined at first. If you're up to it, you should look it up on Google Earth. I'm curious what you think of it." Mamaroneck. Yeah, we'll go there after exploring Moscow. Edward Dory says, "It's weird to hear someone be so pro-American." Look, if I had an American passport, I don't know, maybe everything happens for a reason. I always see the good in things. Like, I'm living in a mild autocracy. I'm living in Turkey. You got the best food in the world. The nature is peerless. Creatures, art, history, even the humane structure of the cities, they're beautiful. But in America, like, I could really do something. I could make a difference. And I've been so lucky, especially these days with this all tomorrow's shit and everything, finally making a presence felt there. It's so like Americans and maybe other Anglos cannot really grasp this. Like coming from such a peripheral place and then making a presence there, making my presence felt there, it's a whole other kind of high. And I know life is really tough all over the world, but in some ways you have it so good there. Okay, let's go back to. Are you enjoying my expeditions in America, by the way? If you're bored, we can go back to the painting. We will finish it, of course, tonight. Just don't want to bore anybody. So here's what we'll do. We'll explore Moscow a little bit more. And then we will take a look at Mamaroneck. And then we will explore local local places where I live at, so we can compare and contrast US and Turkey, okay? Edward Dory says, I would love to have seen you at Ellis Island in 1900. Yeah. Different world. All right. Just checking some messages. Okay, going back to, we're back in Moscow now. Yeah, okay, so, whoa. There's an here, essential art gallery. Art gallery, chocolate, fine gifts. This looks like an old lady shop. Okay. Farmers insurance. I like that the whole place isn't gentrified, so you also have like some real life working places. Look at these buildings. The way they use the brick, they're so solid. And area is so flat, you don't have to climb. Story real estate. Yeah, this place needs to go. This place needs to go. Sorry. If you got a name like that and you're selling real estate, yeah. This pub, how old do you think it is? It looks legacy, but maybe it's not that old. But I could definitely come here for fish and chips and stuff. So let's go. Zion Business Bank Center. Lodgepole. Is that a hotel? Well, I think this is the more like business end of the town now. Oh, it's a restaurant. New American restaurant. Okay, interesting. It's also boggles my mind. You can even find a table. You can make reservations. That's something I've always disliked in life. And you know, when this is the most ridiculous thing, okay? Some people, when they turn 30 or when they find a job and they're like more independent, they immediately start fetishizing. Oh, I made a reservation. Reservation. Did you make a reservation? Reservation. Fuck that. I want to be able to go, sit my ass down and eat somewhere wherever I want it. Oh, I made a reservation. No reservations. Lars says the pub is maybe 100 years old. It looks old, but maybe it may even be post-COVID. Who knows? Nothing here is very old, says Jerry Caleb. Okay, wait. Let's finish up Moscow, then go to Mamaronek. There's a thing called Sonic Drive-In. Okay, screw Lodgepole and reserve a table. I want to go to Sonic. Yes. What's this? Sonic. America's Drive-In. Oh, so it's not a Sonic the Hedgehog. This is where I'll be. You see? Look at the food. Real food for real people. No fancy. Yeah. No need to book a table here. I'll like eat here and then go downtown and thumb my nose at all the snotty people down there. I'm just gonna make an incredible old guy, huh? Very crusty and very grumpy. Okay, let's explore Moscow a little bit more. Give me terrain. Okay. What a lovely place. So these must be the houses. One thing I know about this is if you got curving roads, that's probably a rich people place. And if you got tight streets, that's probably not so rich people place. Mobile home courts, wild hair. I'm just gonna check this out. Live here, you drive downtown. Okay. One thing I cannot fathom Americans Poyo, take reservations for barbers. It's so annoying. I don't know what this means. Roxumi says, lol, Sonic is an American staple. Kyra Fiskro says, Sonic is a national chain. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so one thing about American houses that I cannot wrap my head around. How do you sleep in this? I know this is a very safe neighborhood, but how do you sleep in this? Anybody could come in, break the windows, get in there. The way I see it, the first floor must be like a castle, like this. The first stone must be built out of stone. The first floor must be built out of stone or concrete. It must have no windows or easily bearable windows. I'm looking for an example here. Okay, here's one. I'm just going to change the tab. So the ideal American house should be like this. Entrance level is boarded up, and then your life takes place upstairs where it's safe, and there's a second like steel door before you climb the stairs, so nothing can be stolen here. I can't fathom, and I cannot understand how you can sleep easy. Lars says, you don't need walls when you have guns. Yeah, but do I have to be like on the watch all the time? I mean, I could also have like a firearm to defend the house. Although statistically, those are never a great idea. Jerry Caleb says, a lot of upper middle class Americans live in gated communities. The rest of us just lock our doors and nod hey to our neighbors. Yeah, I mean, look, community building and it's not the neighbors I'm afraid of. It's just like in the summer, anybody can break in. I mean, people can come from outside of town and just in the dead of the night, just rob a house and get going. Lars says you just get auto turrets. I don't want to shoot people. And this, like, also it's the little details. Like this guy has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chairs stacked up. Do you know how much it would cost to buy 6 plastic chairs? Some things are ridiculously expensive. Like if I bought 6 plastic chairs, all my monthly wage would be gone. So lucky, man. Oh my God. I mean, you guys are so good. Okay, let's fly over. I'm enjoying this so much. Okay, tell me a place around Moscow to drop a marker to go exploring, and I'll go there. Roxumi says, I live by myself and I keep a firearm and security cameras, lol. Well, base Texas lady. I mean, that's one of the great things about the States. Kyra Fiskroff says, suburban areas are generally safe. You could accidentally leave your apartment door open, and the worst thing that could happen is embarrassment. Now in the city, yeah, look, I'm kind of exaggerating. If I lived in a small town like this, I wouldn't be scared of robbers and stuff. It's just the principle of the thing. I mean, all my life, I had walls surrounding me, and all the buildings here are made out of concrete, not wood. It feels so ephemeral, the American style of architecture. Edward Dory says, go to the Arboretum and Botanical Garden. Okay, will do. Right after checking some messages. Okay, let's go drop a pin in the Arboretum and Botanical Garden. Okay. Well, we can't go there. It's off limits. Let's look at the Bridge Bible Fellowship. My God, what a nice neighborhood. Jesus Christ. Like only the 1% in Turkey can afford to live in a house like this. And here it's like every other street. Jesus. Aman Allah'ım ya. Öf. Okay, let's look at the Botanical Garden. University Botanical Gardens. It's just some featureless flat place. But look, even they have a parking lot. God damn. So much space. I was talking about this earlier. Even the cars have personal space around them. Jeez, look at them. You park here, then you, I don't know, you just walk in from here. And I'm sure if this is closed, nobody will think about going in. Look at this guy watering the plants. That's his job. Guy has it so good. Edward Dory says, how about the Hamilton Low Aquatic Center? Okay, let's go there. Where's the Hamilton Low Aquatic Center? Okay. Huh. Okay. And there's just so much to do. Oh, it's a water slide. So yeah, this is kind of lame in my opinion. The water is probably very chlorinated and full of piss. There's this government regulation fence which doesn't, it looks like, and all you do is like you climb up, slide down. And I bet they use this industrial chlorine that kind of like makes your teeth grit against each other. Yeah, not my favorite place. This car is for sale. I totally ride this car. Okay, let's now go to, are you enjoying, by the way? Look, 16 people watching, so I may have bored some of you. You probably wanted me to paint and stuff, right? By the way, let me show you how the magic fountain is going. Look at the colors, god damn it. There's going to be more to this, by the way. Lars says, I'm enjoying the adventure. Just Don't says, do you play GeoGuessr? No, I don't. This turned out really well. I'm going to finish that. But now, as I promised, I'm going to go to Mamaronek. Another adventure begins. Okay. Now, I'm going to compare this after Mamaronek. I'm going to show you my part of the world. So you get an idea of like what my scope of life is like. And maybe you can see how good you've been having it. So let's go to Mamaronek. Roksumi says, I love how it turned out, referring to this painting. Thank you. Okay. Oh, this is East Seaboard, right? Yeah, very close to New York. I mean, I know my way around Manhattan and Queens and some parts of Brooklyn. This place is just the Sopranos extended universe. And then that's where I used to study back in the day. Ithaca. Okay, let's go to Mamaronek though, because that's what we promised. Where? Okay, here. Okay. So this seems to be like an older, well, obviously an older city organized parallel to the sea. There's a yoga place here. This looks like a far more car dependent place than Moscow. There's a golf club, high school. Now I'm going to drop a man at this intersection here. Wow. So clean. Would you look at this? Six-stone bridge. Yeah, it's a more like slightly more business-like thing. Okay, like in these towns, you can't go wrong with places like this. Carvel, America's finest ice cream. Just get here, get a cone, sit here all day, and just paint. Just paint. What's this? Some soulless law office. You can skip this. Nice town. Okay, so here I would feel more comfortable. Like upper floor house, or maybe no, this is a joint house. So yeah, oh, they drive a sport car. So there would probably be some domestic problems here. Maybe not this house per se, but something like this would make me feel safer. So I would actually have steel shutters here, steel door here, and upstairs I could have my veranda and my living room. This would be just like a clearing area. I would not inhabit this part of the house. And they're so nice. Look, these guys are so lucky because they can literally walk to the grocery store and get food. They're not in a food desert. Eddie and Mark's barbershop, okay. Forever young. There's a very slight mob energy here too, by the way. You don't want to cross the wrong people in Mamaronek. La Miguelena grocery. I think this is the Nicaraguan flag, right? Or either Nicaragua or El Salvador. Yeah, it's the Nicaraguan's flag. So probably there's a community of Nicaraguans or I don't know, maybe Miskito people or like I don't know, some cool Mesoamerican people around this place. What's this? Anthony's Deli. Yeah, this is definitely a mob hangout. Look at the cars. I'm not gonna eat here, that's for sure. Let's keep going. Walk down the street. Chef Antonio, yet again, mob energy. You see, you have some irregularities here. Like, what's this thing? Like that blue thing? Is that trash? There's some little specks of trash. There's some cracks in the pavement. We did not have this in Moscow, Idaho. Screen is black. Can you hear me? I don't know what's wrong. Oops. Here we are, says Jerry Caleb. It's back now. When did it cut off? The screen was black. Okay. Is it black now? Is it black now? Okay, so I'm sorry, you missed all of the Mamaronek adventure, huh? I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. But could you hear me speaking when the screen was black? Because I spoke a lot. Oh shit. The mob blocked it. Yeah, okay. So I was just talking about Mamaroneck, New York. It's a nice town, slightly older, but some venues are a bit weird. We did not have these in Moscow, Idaho. Like what goods or services are being rendered here, we don't know. Maybe they're for sale. Yeah, this could be a totally great art gallery, by the way. Yeah, this guy looks a bit tough. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe even ex-military. The pavement is a bit cracked. By Mob Energy, I was talking about things like this place, Chef Antonio's. Oh, the void is back. I think there's a bug with the whole thing. Something does not want me share my views of Mamaroneck, New York. Well, it got sabotaged. I'm sorry. Let's try sharing it again, and if it goes black again, we'll figure it out. Okay, we're in Mamaroneck, New York. Well, you didn't miss much because this is an older part of the state. Hair salons, unknown goods or services. Okay, so I would feel much safer in a house like this, living in the States. Even if I had tens of millions of dollars, I would rather live here or an upper story apartment like this. I'm scared of suburban houses. It's gone again. Okay, look. I have no idea. I'm going to try sharing in another window. So wait. It's like a joke. Can you see it now? How about now? Can you see it now? Okay. I'll give it like if it fails again, just have to call it quits. Exploring Mamaroneck, the detail box, drapery, and interiors. This is, look, I'm sorry to say, this is a slightly more worn and torn community, but it's still beautiful. I would not give up and offer to live here. Like up here, 2 little bedrooms, 1 little kitchen, 1 little toilet. Where is this, says Donkey Kong Max? We are in Mamaroneck, New York. Look at the air conditioning units. These things are very solid. They never fail. I love these things. Another thing is that almost everybody can afford air conditioning. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? You have to work 2 months to afford an air conditioning unit. Maybe another month to afford getting it installed. It's so unfair. I mean, in my part of the world. This building is really gorgeous, by the way. Almost Victorian era look to it. Look at the door, The pointed arc, beautiful. Remodeling consultants. Yeah, this building needs to go. Well, the building doesn't need to go, but these people are evil. They probably take up all these beautiful lived-in vintage buildings and paint them gray and shit. Less irritating says, the windows are too small. That's okay. That's okay. If you have a roof over your head and a door keeping you safe, that's okay. Okay, this is Mamaroneck. Let's go to the seaside, by the way. Okay. There seems to be this like bay community here, which is, oh, okay, these are the better areas. And they're just houses and houses. Oh, look at this guy jogging. Thinking about the dinner he's going to have tonight at Anthony's Mafia Restaurant or Antonio's. Skip lane, skibidi toilet lane. We're going down this place now. Oh, look at this. They have their private driveway. Oh, man. Incredible. Can you see now, by the way? I hope there are no problems here. All right. I'm assuming you can see. Okay. So this was Mamaroneck. Look, I'm just going to get a view of the seashore, and then I'm going to show you a part of my world so you can compare. So this is the seaside point, and these women were just jogging around, and that's cool. But I think the sea view is only reserved to these incredible houses with views. This house is beautiful. Actual worn out boarding, and wow, this is nice. Old, like New England energy right here. Another like very, very big house, and of course with Mercedes in the driveway. It's incredible. Like this lawn is being mowed. People actually take care of these places. It's incredible. Because I'm about to show you now a Turkish city. Let's get Izmir. Let's look at go to Izmir Swiss Hotel. So this is arguably, by some estimates, the most westernized city in Turkey, although that's contested. My father was born here. Some of my ancestors are buried here. So we're just going to I'm going to take you to the most upscale streets of the city and the seaside promenade and everything. So here we are, okay? You just left the Swiss Hotel in Izmir. So, and this is a boulevard. And look, the boulevard is more narrow than boulevard next to the 5-star ambassadorial hotel, more narrow than the small streets in Mamaroneck or Moscow. You go towards the sea. There's some fancy like ceramics dealerships, and everybody lives in houses like this. This is one apartment, another apartment, entire lives in here. And an apartment here costs something like $400,000, which is a lot. And it's like the most upscale distinct in the most upscale district in the most western city in Turkey. And this is what you get. So that's why I was pining for those small houses. Poyo says, I'm living here too. Edward Dory says, I have a fellow MA student here who is Turkish but insists that he is European. I'm going to give this guy a dressing down, but to do that, I'm going to take you to the main square. Let's go down, down towards the sea. We're going along this little police lady who's also a small person. Okay, she's actually not a police officer, but she's wearing clothes that have been donated by a police officer because the police does that in Turkey. Instead of shooting people in their kitchens, they actually help out people in need. The electrical, like the mobile chair, has also been donated by the municipality. So, yeah, you have smaller houses, but a more generous government. This woman just went shopping and she's just enjoying her walk. Yeah, Main Boulevard. It's not bad. I love these trees. I love these trees. They're so nice. Mediterranean pines. So now I'm taking Dory's Turkish European student to the seaside to give him a dressing down. Edward Dory says, where do you live if you can't afford an apartment? My brother in Christ, not affording, like, there are only apartments. And there are more decrepit apartments. I will show you some. But you live in apartments. Maybe if you live in the rural village, you can have a house of your own with a garden, but they don't look like the American cities. Blake Richardson is back. So anyways, let's go towards the sea, huh? Okay, let's take you there. It's a travel coach. This bus takes tourists from this big hotel and takes them to historic cities like Ephesus and Sardes. Once again, fancy apartments with a view of the sea. But look, this is the most upscale city. And here's how they wire their satellite TVs. Each apartment or each room has an individual cable going upstairs. Notice that most of these houses can't afford air conditioning. And you had them even in the smallest place. Well, some of these guys do. Okay. I guess they're the lucky, the few. Anyways, let's go to the seaside. Huh? This is one big square. And this is actually one of the oldest modern apartment blocks built in the city. You can tell they're very rich because everybody has an ACU, sometimes more than one per house, which is incredible. This apartment has changed since the 1960s. And they even have like Swedish bed dealerships and stuff. This place has been here for the last decade, if longer. I don't know how they stay in business. Anyways. So, Edward Dory's friend thinks he's European. This kind of complex you see in many people because they don't want to be associated with other Middle Eastern people. Maybe for correct reasons, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, they're worried that if they say they're Turkish, they might be ridiculed. They might even be maybe held accountable for certain historic events, like what happened to the Armenians and stuff. That's what they fear. But unfortunately, this is the problem with a lot of educated Turkish people. They also learn to hate their heritage. They learn to hate their own country. They're educated to be cowards and idiots. And to me, there's nothing more disgusting, reprehensible than a person who like actively denies what he or she is. These people are not just like, they're like actively disgusting to me. And you would probably notice, maybe I'm wrong, but you would probably notice that somebody who acknowledges every part of their reality, like yours truly, your humble servant, is far more articulate, far smarter, actually better with the English language, more quote unquote learned about facts than these make believe fake ass European Turk cosplaying Europeans. What do you get? What do you get? You want to go to Vondel Park in Amsterdam and smoke weed on the ground. What do you get? You're going to get a pat on the back? Oh, you're so civilized. Good, good. They're going to be laughing at you all the way. I really can't handle those people. Like, and if I'm an easygoing guy, but those types are my like natural enemies. I would rather hang around with like genuinely like primary school dropouts who work for a living than with those types. I don't know. I don't know Edward Dory. Don't tell this to your friend. Maybe he's a good guy too. I don't know. Should I rant in Turkish? Oh boy, I could go. Less IRR says based cidden. You don't have to look. Oh, sorry. I've been going for a while. You don't have to be like, oh, I was born in the. I mean, you don't have to be like flamboyantly Oriental either. But when you go out there, nobody's going to mistake you for a European. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So you'll come across as some LARPing. And they'll laugh at you all the way. Americans don't know history, says Jerry Caleb. He just got tired of being asked if he personally knows you or Hassan Piker. Well, look, out of solidarity, I'll say Hassan Piker is a people like Hassan Piker, Cenk Uygur, they're doing a great job being media presences. So I wouldn't diss them outright. Hassan Piker has had some weird or questionable takes. I mean, everybody is in it for the clout game. He's a clout chaser. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but he's there for eyes and ears. And in order to get those eyes and ears, sometimes you have to cut corners or fold against your own principles. But that's the name of the game, and he plays it better than most. Edward Dory says, I share your hatred of fake European Turks towards super pro-American grind set real estate. Yeah, if someone is in real estate, that's a big red flag. It's just like, okay, let's go back to Izmir. I'll show you. I'll take you to a nice part of town, because so far we've only been seeing these bleak, sad streets, and yeah. So this is the seaside, and as you can see, well, this is the seaside. Now you got some super luxury apartments that look like Soviet blocks, but they face the endless expanse of the Aegean. There are these really strange lighting fixtures. There's an old pier, some century-old buildings left over from the last ages of the Ottoman Empire. There's a big public square, and that's nice. A lot of people like hang around these parts, and oh, I can't move walk there. Wait, just need to go back. Let's go. So this is the walkway in the seaside. On one side, it's black again. Oh, for Christ's sake. I don't know why this is doing it, but are we back now? Can you see it? It's back. So I think it's going to go black again, but let's make double sure. Let's take a seaside walk back to darkness. Okay, there's some bug, but now it should be back. Yeah. I don't know how to take care of this. So let me just drop you in my favorite part of Izmir and give the closing conversation. So this is okay, wait. Oh, we can see again. Okay. Well, this is Izmir. It's the most westernized by some standards, most westernized, and one of the wealthiest cities in all of Turkey. And this is what the city center looks like. It's relatively clean. It's relatively clean. There are lots of very nice restaurants, but you see there's the population is way denser. Everybody lives in apartment blocks, regardless of where they are. Even the second or third floors are like they sell wedding dresses here, and there's a university consultant place here. You can see it, right? Can you confirm? Can you see? Okay, you can see. Great. So, and a lot of young people come here to hang out. They grab ice cream, food, go out for a drink. You can actually drink alcohol in public in Turkey, which is also always not bad. But these are what the main streets look like. They're like, in Turkish standards, this is a very wide street, and you have to be really careful. But you see, it's more narrow than a back street in like Moscow, Idaho. There's some jewelers, there's a hairdressers here, there's a place that sells glasses here, optometricians, and it's just life. Everywhere you can walk. Actually, cars are few and far between. There's a pet shop here, which is really touching because this apartment actually here, my grandmother's sister used to live here, and she passed away in 2010. Somebody else lives here now. But it's just, as you can see, she had a little budgie, and she took it to this pet shop to get its cage cleaned and stuff, and that was like one of her days. Then she would get plants, flowers from here, maybe get her hair done here, and go back up to this floor and just live alone. And really, this was her life. Like, this place sells hearing aids, so she got her hearing aid when she was older. This was her life. Pet food for the pet bird, flowers for the house, get her hair and nails done, go back up. If you want an alternative, here's another pet shop with bird cages and food. If she got sick, she would get here. Here's the pharmacy. I'm showing you what a 15-minute city looks like. Everything she wanted was literally within walking distance, even for a very old person. There's some jewelers here. She maybe, I don't know, bought some like bracelets and stuff to like make herself happy. And then if you wanted to go shopping for groceries, there are a few places. I mean, here's some place that does desserts. So like every place is functional. Here's a place that sells bodybuilding supplements, actually. And look, here's a lady walking her dog. And just people going about their life. Less irritating says, it's great how city design itself forces people to walk in a daily basis. I live in Eryaman, which is in Ankara, another Turkish city, and it's a car-dependent place. I hate it, yes. So yeah, I mean, I hope all, what do you all think, my American friends? What do you think about the Turkish city so far? Living in a house of your own is impossible. Everybody has an apartment. Everybody who can afford it. And you can go back here. Look, here's a corner shop. You can get ice cream, snacks, drinking water. Here's a vet clinic here. You can take your cat here, get her cleaned up and stuff. And a lot of optometricians in this town, maybe because a lot of old people live here. Here's a bookshop. I love this place. Here's a bookshop and a cafe. You can just sit here and, I don't know, get secondhand books. And actually, when I go to any city, places like this, I seek them out. This girl is walking her dog. Like, you can see girls like this in the States, but the city is so different. But still, people are somehow clinging to life. Another, so you can have meatballs here. This is like a family restaurant of home-cooked meals. A full meal costs $4. $4 with meat and everything. And this place has been open since 1980. Blake Richardson says, I would live here if I could. Well, let's trade passports. Kyra Fiskrove says, it looks lovely. Walkability is a huge plus because driving in the city is hell. Rogzumi says, I like the accessibility. And yeah, you don't need to keep a gun here either. A barber shop for guys. Everything is built almost within each other. Another corner shop selling beer, food and stuff. You notice how narrow the streets are. Almost more narrow, like a single car can barely go through, but they've somehow managed to cram in like pedestrian walkways and the car drive. And they solve the narrowness by having like S-shaped, like, so you have to turn left and left to change lanes, basically. So this is Izmir. This is like, get this. Your whole life is spent in a place like this. You can rent this house. And once again, these are like the upper middle class places. Oops, there's a problem. Wait. Okay. There's a breakfast corner place. Just sit here with your date and have breakfast. You can have some of these incredible Turkish pastries and stuff. How nice. Lux Aterna says, I like the vibe of this city. So I'm going to show you another part now, actually, of Izmir. Somebody asked, where do the poor people live if they can't live in apartments? Well, they live in places like this, where it's far more decrepit, and it really looks like quote-unquote Middle Eastern city. So that guy who wants to pretend he's European, well, have him look over here. And despite everybody's best intentions, still the majority of Turkish people live in places like this. In cities. And it's like on and on like this forever. It looks like Mexico and like quote unquote Middle East sometimes. Well, I think we reached the end of that. So all I'm saying is like, good place for people watching and street photography. Yes, yes. Jerry Caleb said, are there Ottoman ruins in cities like this? Yes, actually. Let me take you somewhere else. This is a completely different city, Antalya. And like Izmir was here. Are we blacking again? Can you confirm you can see the map? I'm not moving ahead without confirmation. Okay. So look, this is Izmir. This is Istanbul, where I'm broadcasting from. And this is Antalya, another city. It's, well, a very ancient city. I'll just show you this. Roman Gate of Hadrianus is still extant and walkable. Only here you walk through it to go to the Shaker Pub. Have a pint. On the other side is a mosque, but still, this is a slightly secular neighborhood. So you got tea shop, tea and beyond, actually, it says. You got just in city, a hotel of sorts. Oh, well. Pharmacies, apartments, the same kind of texture. But yeah, it's like intertwined with the ancient past. Kara Fiskrov says, Çanakkale, I am reminded of Pamukkale. Have you been there? Yeah, it's these like natural formations that look like yogurt or some other white stuff. I was there as a kid, but yeah. I'm very tired, everybody. It's been nearly 3 hours. I'm just going to show you the house I was born in, and then I'm going to say good night. And thanks for painting this with me. I'm going to add some more creatures to it later on. So let me take you to where I was born. So all I'm saying is, Americans, you know, life isn't great. I know, but be thankful, really. Billions around the world, yours truly included. It's not that we dislike this part of the world. I could do so much more. It is what it is. Okay. So I was born in an apartment not too far from this very old legacy park, Kulu Park in Ankara. All these ponds and little lakes with swans in them. It's a very nice park town. people going about. You see how compact everything is. The pathways are so narrow, but they're there. People walk around. So this was the park, the Kulu Park. My house was, which was it? Each Sokak? Yeah. This street, like very close to here. This was my house. This was my apartment. And our house was this one. Ah. That's that. Now it's an unfair state of the world. How long were you there? Asks Roksumi. I was born in 1984. I lived there until 1991, but the house was actually, it belonged to our family until 1999. And when my grandparents died then, and my parents quickly sold off this place, I actually would give an arm and a leg just to be able to live here again. It meant so much. Now it's of course become really decrepit and run down, and the place falling apart. But like these bushes, this door, I remember everything. Now look, some people still take good care of it. They still love where they live. If you love where you live, you can make it work. There was a school right opposite of our place. Now look, I came from this house, okay? Now look at all those other houses, all those other people, all those other places. Now just think what potential there is in all these places. It's just being wasted or just being turned inward is becoming parochial, believing actually it is getting more educated or whatever. Such a sad state of affairs. I mean, I'm always a bit bittersweet when comparing countries. And yeah, of course, I had a great run and I'm really happy. But you know, you have it so good. Like, you have it so good. Although this city rocks. I mean, the Ankara is lovely. It's a lovely part of Turkey. Anyways, we don't get a say in where we are born, and so maybe it's better to be happy about this. If you are listening so far and 14 people are still online, thank you. Let me finish up the fountain, magic fountain with you. And then I'm gonna go to bed. Thank you everybody for being here with me tonight. I love exploring towns and cities with you. And yeah, next time we should do more of that. Wait, for some reason, I cannot switch over to the camera for some reason. So, well, you'll just have to accept this as it is. I think the same bug that was blanking the screen with the maps is now causing this. So that was it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed tonight. And I hope you're having a great time wherever you are. Last messages before I say goodnight. We streamed for nearly 3 hours. This was great. Less irritating says great. Good night. Lux Aterna says thank you for the stream. Bor says 1 a.m. Rogzumi says Awesome stream memo. I love the zoo and traveling together. Well, thank you. If you're still watching this on a later recording on YouTube, please consider donating to me. The links are below. Poyo says, did the painting dry? It dried all right. Poyo says, good night, take care, have a great week, everybody. Blake Richardson says, it's been a wonderful night. Would you like me to send you the drawing of the coelacanth? Yes, send it to me. Josh K says, did I arrive at the end? Yes, we're unfortunately wrapping up. Kare Fiskroff says, good night. Good night. Well, good night, everybody. I love you all. I hope you had a nice night with me. Thanks for celebrating Moon, the cockroach. Luke Saterna says, how do I catch your next stream? The best way to do this is to click the bell icon in my channel when you subscribe. I usually announce streams 1 hour or 2 hours ahead of time, so it's good practice to have that warning in place. Josh K says, good night. All right. As always, this has been CM Kozeman. Thank you and have a lovely day, night, wherever you are. Boom!